Ah, what a time to be alive. Did you miss me? Joker came out and Joaquin Phoenix's performance is stellar. Nothing like what some critics are saying. Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit is coming out soon and I'm excited to see it. And I'm on break, so I thought let's crack open a cold bottle of water and make a new video for YouTube. So when you hear October, what do you think about? No pressure. Usually when I hear October, I think Breast Cancer Awareness Month and spooky stuff. So, think of this vid as the Caramel Life Halloween special. Sorta. And our topic is the scariest thing that I can think of. The duality of man. You've probably seen this concept thrown around a lot. But what could be scarier than a nice, upstanding person of society living a life of vile and cruel deeds behind closed doors? You could literally have eaten ribs with this dude.
We eat ribs and whatnot and listen to salsa music.
Jordan Peele's Us was about this with The Tethered. The Me Too movement was all about this. And if you've taken some English classes, then you know a certain novella has this idea ingrained within our culture and our 5-paragraph essays. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now I know you guys see the title of this video, but we're getting there. Slow down, people. Just need to do a little history lesson first. Jekyll and Hyde is all about balance. Sigmund Freud came up with the id, ego, and superego. The id is the instinctual me eat, me sleep, and me copulate part. The superego is the critical moral part. The make sure you are dressed business casual except when it's casual Friday. And finally, we have the ego that acts as the mediator between the id and superego. The ego gives us our self-control, my self-control. These concepts lead into what Robert Louis Stevenson wanted to discuss when he wrote The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you haven't read it, the book is about an overall nice guy named Dr. Jekyll who struggled to keep his inner desires or his id in check. So one day he says, you know what, I won't have to keep myself in check if I just use some syrup to express my guilty pleasures. And he ends up creating the murderous and dastardly Mr. Hyde. This is an innocent idea, but giving into the darkness is like doing crystal meth. It becomes an addiction. It becomes worse and worse to the point where Hyde was growing out in control and could appear without a potion. In fact, Hyde's growing strength flips the script and makes so Jekyll can't exist unless he drinks the potion. Eventually, Jekyll runs out of ingredients for the potion and he fades away, becoming Hyde permanently. Basically, Jekyll lost his ego, or in other words, his my self-control, my self-control. Jekyll wanted to see the world as white and black, when the world is gray and complex. And you can't do that. People aren't simple. We have
layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers.
This leads us into the Hulk, who with these recent years has probably become my favorite superhero. The Hulk was crafted by the late Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Lee's even stated that Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are big influences on the Hulk's creation. The Hulk was created when purple pants-wearing physicist Dr. Robert Bruce Banner became exposed to high levels of gamma radiation. That night, Banner transformed into his more monstrous, stronger, and smashier half, the Hulk. Transformation due to rage comes later in the comics. In his origin, the Hulk transformation happened at night, and the Hulk was gray instead of his iconic green. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly when my love for the Hulk started. I think it stemmed from my deep admiration for Raimi's Spider-Man and my mother's comic book knowledge, but whenever I found the character, I couldn't look away. A big green guy that smashes things and gets stronger the angrier he gets? Sign me up. I found the Hulk compelling because with every outburst of Hulk smash or Hulk the strongest there is always this sense of tragedy. Most people only want the Hulk around when he can help them, but when Hulk acts out, they turn on him and retaliate. And you can always, feel how this affected the Jade Giant. How do you react when people mainly want to use you or turn on you? Get sad, or in the Hulk's case, you probably get mad. Maybe even really mad. This kind of reminds me of how in some iterations of Raphael from the Raphael's anger stems from his love for his brothers. He knows that they are the only 4 mutant Ninja Turtles in the world, and the idea of just losing one of them just makes him so angry that he can even push his own brothers away. It's tragic. Both characters feel like they need a hug, which Raphael can get, but it's hard to hug somebody that can cause so much destruction. I'm not so sure, but I think I ended up unconsciously relating myself to the big fella in a way. Now let's move on to being a Hulk fan. There have been some highs and lows in seeing the green guy. I never really grew up with the old Hulk cartoon or the new ones, so most of my gamma boner came from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and some of the animated movies, but I'm mainly going to focus on the MCU. First, let's talk about the 2008 Incredible Hulk film. I think this film was alright. I haven't seen it in a while, but this film birthed the MCU along with Iron Man. Iron Man was fantastic. Felt like being a kid and seeing Spider-Man 1 again. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, the music, that ending?
I am Iron Man.
Iron Man really gave Marvel the push they needed to firmly establish their cinematic universe, with Iron Man as their Goku. In contrast, the Hulk movie was non-Iron Man, and the executives realized that, and we haven't gotten another Hulk film since. The Hulk was sidelined. This leads us into Avengers. We have Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. The Hulk is now the Diddy Kong to Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor's Donkey Kong. But let me just say that the Hulk in this film, just like Diddy in Smash 4, is top tier.
So hard, finally be able to get that grab. Oh, one, a two, is that
The Hulk has a monster moment, a funny moment with Loki, and still one of the hypest moments in the MCU.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
In terms of being a Hulk fan, the Avengers belongs on the fridge. On the other hand, Age of Ultron gives us the Black Widow romance, which is okay, and the Hulkbuster fight, which is incredible for an Iron Man fan, but for a Hulk fan, it kind of felt like the Hulk moved backward. He got nerfed. Then the Hulk realized that people don't like him, and the Hulk dips. This is some good potential, but where's my Jolly Green Giant going? For greatness or worse? Bring us to Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok. Watch Jojo Rabbit. Ragnarok is my favorite Marvel film. It rejuvenated Thor's cinematic career and made me a Thor boy. And it gave the Hulk some much needed limelight. My boy's happy and smiling, he's smashing and making jokes. He's got a great fight with Thor, and as a whole, the Hulk in this film feels like Diddy Kong got a super shroom and leveled up into Luigi. It was once again great to be a Hulk fan. Then we get Infinity War and the Hulk got used as a benchmark to show how strong Thanos is. I mean, I get it. You can't have the Hulk smash all the heroes' problems away, but please don't play up my boy's trauma for laughs. Finally, we get to Endgame and Professor Hulk. I wasn't sure if Professor Hulk was a buff or a nerf, but now I think it's a nerf. I like how this could be interpreted as some kind of coping mechanism for Thanos, but I feel like this was mainly used for laughs again. Yeah, we got some memes and Hulk using the gauntlet, but we didn't really see the Hulk, and we never got to see the Hulk get a rematch with Thanos. For all we know, the Hulk could have made a proper return and used Mjolnir instead of Cap. So to summarize, MCU Hulk has one poor attempt at being Donkey Kong, 2 Oscar-worthy performances as Diddy Kong, and 3 movies as Lanky Kong. But you guys see the title. What is so exciting about being a Hulk fan right now? I'll tell you what, Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk comic. Now, I'm not much of a comic reader. Before last month, I only owned 1 Deadpool comic. But after hearing about how good the Immortal Hulk comic was, I bought 4 volumes and relished in every second of reading.
I tell you what.
The comic is incredible. The first issue is just mesmerizing. The artwork is incredible. Just look at the freaking cover art. The Hulk and HFIL arc is a masterclass and honestly deserves an in-depth analysis. The way that Ewing uses years of Hulk comics and enriches story by using multiple Hulk personas. And the idea that the Hulk is just a form of Banner's dissociative personality disorder from his father's abuse. You may need to watch a recap to fully appreciate these comics, but these comics are also easy to understand for his comic book newcomers. I think the best parts of the new Hulk persona, the Devil Hulk, and the horror-based storytelling. The Devil Hulk is so cerebral. He smashes, but he also demoralizes in savage ways. He's like an evil genius, but you can't help yourself from enjoying the ride. The horror helps emphasize that the Hulk is a monster, and Banner even transforms into the Hulk at night, just like in his origins. The body horror is just further proof of the artwork, as these moments are grotesque, yet eerily beautiful. And as the story pushes forward, the horror does too, evolving from monster movies, Cronenberg, body horror, to Lovecraftian cosmic horror. Please read this comic if you're interested. I used to not understand the beauty of comic books, but with the Immortal Hulk, I now find myself reading Alan Moore's Watchmen and fully appreciating the media that is comic books. The Immortal Hulk has truly established these current years as an incredible time to be a Hulk fan, and I can't wait to see what Ian's gonna cook up next. Deuces!